Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you're doing well, but I hope you are. Today I am going to be showing you all of the vinyls that I have collected since the last time I made a video like this. If you have not seen the first video, you should go and watch it. If you want to know what these albums are, if you want to get some context behind this. But you don't have to, it's your choice. If you did see that video though, you may remember that I got this Lucy Dacus album. And it was very warped. So warped, in fact, that it was entirely unplayable. And I tried so many different methods to flatten it. I put books on it, I put a lamp on it, I heated it up, did all of the things, but I finally resolved the issue by going online and getting a new one. So, yeah, look, flat as a pancake. And it's great. I think that was the right decision, because I just really wanted to hear this album on vinyl again. But yeah, I guess now I'm in possession of two Lucy Dacuses. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one. Maybe use it as decoration. I should check out Pinterest or something, I don't know. But moving on, I actually got two new 7-inch singles. These came from a family trip I went on to Helen, Georgia. We were, sightseeing, and I saw this record store, and I was like, I want to check that out. And so I went inside. I didn't see a lot of albums that I was particularly drawn to, but when I looked through the single section, I was like, yeah, wait, I kind of need these. This is the Beatles, a single from their album Abbey Road, a classic, Come Together, and Something by John Lennon and George Harrison, respectively. And I mean, what else is there to say? It's the Beatles, I love Come Together, the bass line, iconic. Something's a good song too. Short for Something in the Way She Moves, of course. And then the second one, this is from the band Yes, which I said yes to buying a copy of. I am so sorry, that was an awful joke. It's Roundabout, probably the most famous song from their album Fragile, and also from that To Be Continued meme. The B-side is Long Distance Runaround. Both good tracks, worth checking out if you're not familiar. And I got another single, but this time it is 12 inches instead of 7 inches. A few of you may even be surprised to learn that there are 12-inch singles. Yes, you just spin them at 45 RPM instead of 33. But yeah, this is Björk and Rosalía, Oral. It's very recent, probably. No, I think this is probably the most recent album I own. But this is up there. Again, it's very new and came as this teal colored vinyl, which is very, very cool, very interesting. You have the lyrics around here, very unique, and yeah, it's a good song. If you like Björk, if you like pop, experimental, electronic pop, this song is for you. And also, if you're a hopeless romantic, that's, yeah. But, speaking of hopeless romantic, Dummy by Portishead, a 1994 classic. I keep saying that word, and I'm gonna say it a lot more in this video, but yeah, maybe even the second best album of 1994, because, The Downward Spiral did also come out in that year, and I love 9 Inch Nails, so, but yeah, there are so many good songs on this. The opener, Mr. Ron's, with the theremin sounding synth, I think it's a synth. Sour Times. Roads is a really beautiful song. And it's the kind of keyboard that Jeff Barrow is playing is a Rhodes, so it's like a play on words, Smart. Oh, and Glory Box, good song. If you're watching this video as a vinyl lover, you've you're probably familiar with this. Another dark blue album that I own, King Gizzard and Lizard Wizzard, Flying Microtonal Banana. This is my second King Gizzard album. The first was Polygon Dwanaland, and yeah, I'm super psyched to psychedelic rock. That wasn't even intentional. But yeah, super hyped to get this album. Comes with this, I think it was called Atomic Yellow, this color. Very shiny, very neon. But yeah, we got the lyric sheet in here. This album, if you're not familiar, is basically an experiment in microtonal tuning. So instead of the normal 12 notes we use in Western music, this is in 24 tone equal temperament. And there's this little note back here explaining how dumb it is that we limit ourselves to 12 notes. It's really funny. But yeah, good album, you know, a lot of good songs. Sleep Drifter, oh, and Rattlesnake. It's probably maybe even their most famous song. It's the song that really, like, that made their career take off, you know. This is the album where they really started to get popular. And it's a classic. Next, King Crimson, Starless and Bible Black. Now, before obtaining this album, I listened to King Crimson a little bit, and I knew of their song Starless, which goes Starless and Bible Black, off their album Red, and I was expecting this to be like a, you know, maybe a live album that had that track on it, and it does have a track on it called Starless and Bible Black, but they don't say Starless and Bible Black in the song when they do in that other song. I don't know, it was confusing. But yeah, this album is something that they recorded mostly in live performances, I think. And then they added stuff in the studio or something like that, because they really wanted that energy that you get when you play music live. It really is a different experience. And I think it was a really smart idea to capture that for an album like this. And yeah, King Crimson is, of course, a progressive rock band, really one of the fathers of rock, as we know it. There's some great tracks on here. The Great Deceiver, the opener, very funky, very mathy. I love the part where it goes cigarettes, ice cream. But it's not all like that. There's Trio, which is basically just classical music. It's a few ambient parts and a few funky ones. So if you like rock and jazz and fusion and stuff like that, you'll probably enjoy this. And if you enjoy this, then you'll definitely love Pictures at Exhibition by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Now, this is a band I had not heard of before I obtained this album, because it was a gift along with this one. And yeah, from what I know, it is made up of Emerson, who's a keyboardist, Greg Lake, singer and bassist, and Keith Palmer, the drummer. But what's significant is Greg Lake was in King Crimson. I think he left by the time this album was made, but he was the lead singer for their first album, In the Court of the Crimson King. Great classic album. If you're like a fan of music at all, that's kind of like a mandatory listen. You know, 21st Century Schizoid Man, I Talk to the Wind, beautiful song. And then yeah, he went on to form this band, this trio, and make this album. I'd probably need to listen to it a bit more before I have a full review of it, but the Nut Rocker at the end of this album is fantastic. It's a progressive rock cover of Tchaikovsky's March from the Nutcracker. But yeah, if you like, you know, groovy organ, electric organ based kind of rock music, then yeah, check it out. moving on to something a little more alternative. I have 2 new Godspeed You Black Emperor albums. Now, this makes 4 total albums that I have of their discography, and as I said last time, they've taken all of their music off of streaming, so I've now made it my goal to collect as many of their albums as I can. This one is Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven. You may recognize this album cover. It is a very famous one. It's just an iconic album from, you know, the turn of the century, and on a lot of like top 10 best album of all time lists. So there's that. Here's what the sleeves look like. Very, very interesting art going on. And in the gatefold, this is pretty interesting. It has like a kind of a depiction of what the album looks like, and there's like, I don't know, a rise when the music rises, or crescendos. It's, I don't know, it's just pretty cool how like all of the little sections are named. And yeah, it's, man, Godspeed is a very interesting and meditative listen if you ever check them out. But in addition to this, I also bought Yankee UXO, which is short for Unexploded Ordnance, or Ordnance. I guess that's what these are. But it's, honestly, I like this album just as much as Lift Your Skinny Fists. Oh, and like the final song in it is in 7/8 time, which is awesome, because I love odd time signatures. But in the liner notes, it says something that really stood out to me. You know, it has all the credits. It calls all of the musicians by their first names and explains what UXO means. But at the end, it says, "Stubborn tiny lights versus clustering darkness forever, okay?" And I thought that was funny, and also very, very relevant, very philosophical. But that's Godspeed for you. That's Godspeed for you. Check it out. You know, check all of these albums out. You know, why don't you just spend the rest of your life listening to music like me? I don't know. Again, it's your choice. You can do whatever you want with your life. Okay, penultimate album of this video. Suspiria 2018, Thom Yorke. Music for the Luca Guadagnino film. Yeah, Guadagnino. Okay. This is a remake of a horror film from 1977, which the soundtrack was done by, I think, an Italian rock band called Goblin. And I have seen neither of these films, but I love Thom Yorke, and it's just a good score, you know? There's a ton of soundtracks out there that I've listened to but not seen the music it's associated with, because, you know, if it's a good soundtrack, then honestly it shouldn't really need video accompaniment to be enjoyed. This is what the gatefold looks like, and yeah. Probably the most famous track off this album, Suspirium, is really good. It's very simple. It's just Thom at the piano singing, but, you know, he makes it work, as always. Here are the lyrics to it. Looks like handwritten, and it's very eerie, but also beautiful. I don't know, but I mean, there's also Has Ended. It's a very funky song, or groovy, I should say, not funky. Unmade's another good one, and yeah, this is definitely a good background album to just play while you're doing stuff, but while you're studying, something like that. It is a soundtrack. Soundtracks seem to be good for that because they're made to not be the center of focus. But finally, the last album that I have acquired is, are you ready? Honestly, probably the most popular album that is now in my collection, which is When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Now, yeah, like everyone knows Bad Guy, or When the Party's Over, or You Should See Me in a Crown, or Bury a Friend, like, yeah. But it's just a good album, and I like it. I don't care if it's, if everyone already knows it, or is trying to buy it, but it's glow in the dark too, which is pretty sick when the lights are off, when the party's over, one might say. But, yeah, it just sounds so good. Like, Phineas is a master producer. He really knows his stuff. I was listening to this, on vinyl with my headphones, and, now because it is glow in the dark, it's not as good of a quality. Well, the quality is fine. It's just that there's this underlying static noise the entire time you're listening to it, and it's a little distracting, but it's not, the music itself is loud enough to where you can kind of tune it out over time, but it's there, and it's a little annoying, but hey. Anyway, I was listening to this with my headphones and just in awe of how good it sounds in stereo, and man, I Love You, that's a good song. I could listen to that on repeat forever. Ilo Milo is good too. It's not often that you see a minor major seventh chord in pop music like this, and Ilo Milo pulls that off very well. But that's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know if you did, but I hope you did. And I guess I'll see you around. If you want to see more from me, I actually released a soundtrack to this horror film that the Auburn New Media Club did. It's very inspired by classic 80s horror soundtracks, kind of like Suspiria, the original version. And you should give it a listen. Oh, and one more thing. I am releasing an EP in about 1 month, on July 17th. Yeah, it's a project that I've been working on for almost a year, and I feel pretty good about it, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. It's only 5 tracks. It's definitely an experience, but I hope you look forward to that. I know I am. Mark your calendars, but yeah, until then, bye-bye.